Hey, I'm Dr. Patton. I'm going to be your professor for SHS 205 Introduction to Communication Sciences and Disorders, is I think what the full long title for that is. I usually just call it intro, and you can too. Um, so, your book in the syllabus, I have a picture of it from an earlier edition. I think this is actually what the current edition looks like. It is okay with me if you get this edition or that older edition that I've pictured, or even an older edition. Most of everything in there is not going to change. The other thing is a lot of what we have in this course are guest lectures from people who are going to give us the most up-to-date research on all the topics. So there could be very slight discrepancies between a very old edition of our book and the current edition, and that's okay because we're going to go with the guest lecturer uh, on any of those points of discrepancy. Anyway, most of your exam questions and quiz questions come from the guest lecturers anyway. Some come from the book. It's still a good idea to read the book, but a lot of them are heavily weighted towards the guest lectures and my lectures as well. Um, let's see. So aside from that, there is possibly going to be some delays in shipping because of coronavirus and shutdowns and everything like that. If you're not in Arizona, it's possible that you're still shut down. We just opened up, although I know a lot of us are still playing it safe and not treating it like we're totally opened up. So that's probably good. Um, but either way, whether you're locked down or not, I think Amazon's still pretty overrun. So your books might not get to you as soon as you'd like. And I think also publishers are running with less staff than they usually do, so it might take them a lot longer to get books out to people. So that said, I have a link for you that hopefully is still going to be able to allow you to access the book for free online. I say hopefully because they had it up for last semester and there was a deadline on it in May. So maybe they've extended that, or maybe you'll just have access to it through the end of May, and then hopefully your book will arrive at that point. I'm not really sure, but I'll let you know in the announcement section of Canvas. Okay, so anyway, we'll find a way to get a copy of the book to you. I don't know, it might be the one that you order. It might be a free one that I can find for you. It might be a PDF that I create in a secret way that I'm not supposed to. We'll see. Whatever it is, you'll have access to a textbook. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. Um, okay, so the way that the class is going to run is you're going to read a chapter or a portion of a chapter from your book, um, or two per week. Possibly at one point there might be three. I might cut that down. But at most you'll be reading 3 chapters a week. That seems like a lot. I think I'm going to cut that down. I don't think you're going to read 3 chapters a week. Let's say two at most. Um, but there will be lectures that you're going to have to watch. We'll try to keep them shorter. I mean, when we do the class in person, it is an hour and 15 minutes twice a week. And when we're condensing it into an 8-week course, that means that there's an hour and 15 minutes 4 times a week. So that's like 4 hours of videos, which seems like a lot. So we'll try to cut down the time on those to a much more reasonable amount for you to actually be able to watch and learn from in a week. Either way, whichever, whether we can cut them down or not, you're going to have a quiz at the end of each week. There's 2 attempts on that quiz. The first time you take it, I want you to just go in and see what you know. Try it, and maybe you get a really good grade and you don't have to take it a second time, and maybe you don't. You'll know what you got wrong, and what I want you to do is then get your notes out and try to get it right. These questions are going to come up on the exam. So it's a good idea to pay attention to what you got wrong and why, and learn from it, because you're going to see those questions again. You're going to have an exam after every approximately 2 weeks. Let's see. Yes, it is after every 2 weeks. You're going to have an exam at the end of every 2 weeks. It's about 40 question exam. Some are 39, some are 42, but it's around 40 questions. And a lot of those are, again, pulled from quizzes, and some are just pulled from the rest of the course. So you'll have a study guide and a review, and so hopefully you'll do really well. There are 4 exams, like I said, but your lowest one is dropped. So if you do really poorly on your first exam and you take the other 3, your first exam will be dropped. If you do really well on your first 3 exams, you don't have to take the 4th one. That goes in as a 0 and then it's dropped. And so you get to be done with the course early. So that's kind of cool. Let's see. Is there anything else weird that I have that I want to tell you about? No, other than that, it's a pretty much like pretty normal online course. Oh, no, that's not true. Slack. You can get a hold of me through email at any time, but I'm also using Slack for digital office hours. Those are going to be at 10 o'clock Arizona time on Thursday, 10 a.m. Thursday at 10 a.m. Arizona time. I'm there for an hour, so if you have any questions or you just want to talk about the material, or just go, tell me something interesting that you thought of while you're reading it, I'll be there for an hour. Just come in and we can chat. Let's see, if you don't know how to use Slack, it's essentially, if you've never used it, if you don't know what it is, it's basically like a chat room. Businesses use it a lot of times. I used it for a group that I used to work for, actually a couple different groups that I used to work for, and which those are interesting groups. I will definitely tell you about them through the course of this semester. It's like weird stuff. I used to do data science work. I still do. And some of these groups are like very strange groups. It'll come up at some point in the course, and I think you'll enjoy the story. Anyway, they introduced me to Slack, and well, one company introduced me to Slack, I introduced Slack to another company, and then ASU Online started using Slack, and so I signed up immediately. It's a great way to talk to the people that you work with or that you're in a class with, like we are. And anyway, it just kind of functions sort of like an old school chat room. If you don't know how to get to it, I'm going to put in a video on how to do that now. So to get to Slack, you're going to go to my.asu.edu. So my.asu.edu, which is just going to take us back to the same page that you see here, except it's taking forever. There. Okay. And then usually if you're going to go to Canvas, you'd click here on Canvas and then go to the Canvas class, or maybe you have a link that takes you directly to Canvas. But instead, what you're going to do is you're going to click on either one of these, whichever section you're in, and then you have 2 possibilities. So you're going to select the Slack Classroom Workspace, and that will, there you go. Then you can sign in with your ASU Write ID, and then you're there. You're in the Slack workspace, and you're good to go. All right, I'll see you in there. Welcome back. If I didn't cut that right, then I'll say welcome back, and then the video will start. Anyway, we'll see. Maybe I'll do it right. So that's how you go to Slack. Very simple, right? Again, Thursday, 10 a.m. One other thing I should mention is that all the due dates for this class are Arizona time. If you are from Arizona, you know that that is the correct time. If you're not from Arizona, you'll soon learn that that is the correct time. And what I mean by that is we don't do daylight savings time. We're one of the only places in the country that don't do daylight savings time, which is the correct way to do time. I don't understand how you people can do daylight savings time twice a year for your entire life. Just stop. Just do it. Just do it the right way. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Arizona doesn't do daylight savings time. We're always Mountain Standard Time. Usually we've got our own thing. So if you're trying to figure out what time it is and you go to like date and time calculator, it'll just say Arizona time because we're the only state that doesn't do, daylight savings. But if you don't see that, it's Mountain Standard always, not Mountain Daylight. So if you're in a different state, you're going to have to, be aware of our time because that's when you're turning things in. If you're in this state, you already know it. So easy. So that's good. Okay, so throughout this course, we're going to talk about, communication disorders. We'll talk about what communication is. And then, like I said, there's a lot of great guest lectures that are coming up too. In a way, I include my lectures as guest lectures because I'm only lecturing on the stuff that I really know. So you're definitely getting, no matter who's lecturing, you're going to get really great content. It's a really good class. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So what I want to do to have us get to know each other is number one, there's a map. You drop a pin and an approximate location to where you are. You don't have to put your actual address or anything like that, or even your name on your pin. What I do is I usually tag a Starbucks that I used to go to before there was a virus everywhere. And that's just where I consider myself as having my place that I work from. It's close to my house, but it's not exactly my house. You can do the same thing if you want to, have a little bit more privacy. So that's one thing that we'll do to get to know each other. And then another thing that we'll do to get to know each other is, what is your favorite movie? My favorite movie, this is a hard question to answer. In fact, I'm probably going to cut out a whole bunch of time of me trying to think of this. Okay, I think I figured it out. And by I think I figured it out, I mean I have like 5 answers. So, favorite movie that I've seen the most times is probably the very first Star Wars movie. When I was a kid, I only had that one on VHS because I'm old, and I watched it constantly until the tape broke, and then that was the worst day in history. Except it was actually the best because then my parents took me to a store and they bought me all 3 movies on VHS, and so that was great. And then I got them on DVD, and now I have them in Disney Plus. So, so Star Wars is one. Seven, the movie Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman about the serial killer. Fantastic movie if you're into that kind of movie. If you haven't seen it and that sounds like something that you'd like, go watch it. It's amazing. It's fantastic. Tell me what you think. Then also, things by Edgar Wright are really good. Shaun of the Dead, fantastic. Baby Driver was also really good. That one kind of got overshadowed by something else that came out around the same time, but it is really just totally fantastic. It's like a heist movie, a chase movie. It's a little bit of a comedy. It's great. And also it's kind of like the whole thing is it's like a music video too, in a way. You'll see, if you've seen it, you know what I mean. It's really good. Was that it? That might be it. That might have been everything I came up with. Possibly. Knives Out was also really good. Okay. Oh, The Prestige is another amazing movie. Okay, so I think we've covered all of them. Oh, and Brick, which is by the same person that did Knives Out. So Edgar Wright and also Rian Johnson. Anyway, good. Let me know what movies you really liked. All right. you'll see me very soon. In fact, you'll see me in like 3 days when we actually start the course properly. So I'll see you then.